Hey, hey! A very good evening to the viewers of India. Good morning to the western part of the world. Good afternoon to a different time zone. Here I am, Himangi Arora Mishra, your host for the day, and this is Real Talk, the world of stories. So, this is the day when we are talking about stories, and with me, I have my guest storyteller friends, Miss Shafali Chopra. A warm welcome, ma'am.
Good evening,
Namaskar.
everybody. Namaskar. Good evening, everybody. Lovely to be here.
Same here. A pleasure is all ours. And yes, with us, we have amazing, adorable Adhin Das, who is a very young, charming storyteller. Welcome, Adhin,
Well, thank you, everyone. Namaste.
to the world. Namaste from the core of our hearts from India. So, today we are talking about a story of a leader, a story of a learner, a story where somebody had a keen desire to learn the things, irrespective of his sources and resources. And today we are going to know more about the character, the personal character, the trait of a human being. How is it important for us to think about the fact how would people know us as a person? कभी आपने सोचा है कि हमें लोग कैसे जानेंगे? हैव यू एवर थॉट दैट? बहुत सारे एक्शंस में ये चीज इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाती है. So today, from our dear storyteller Adhin, we'll get to know about somebody who was very keen to learn but maintained his character. So Adhin, Das, this is the evening for you, and this is the world open for you to listen to you from the core of the hearts. It's
Yeah,
all
thank
yours.
you.
Go ahead.
Thank you for this opportunity. So, before starting, hello to everyone, the people of the world who are watching us. So, hope you are enjoying tales from the Mahabharata, the epic. Today, we are here to narrate yet another story from the epic that represents the strength of a character and a sacrifice by a human. So, let's begin. As I mentioned in the previous session, Kauravas and Pandavas spent their childhood together, learning warcraft from their guru, Dronacharya. Guru Drona's fame as a teacher spread all around, and many young aspirants wanted to learn warcraft from him. One such young boy was Ekrave, who was a budding archer. He came from a humble family where his father was a boatman. Akrave idolized Guru Drona and wanted to learn advanced archery skills from him. With this thought, Akrave approached Guru Drona and requested him to be his mentor. Drona, on hearing Akrave's request, inquired about his family background. Upon learning that Akrave was the son of a boatman, Drona expressed his inability to teach him. He told him, Agrave, son, I am afraid I can't be your teacher, as I am bound to teach only Brahmins and Kshatriya boys. Agrave got disheartened, but he didn't lose his focus. Instead of returning to home, he went off to a jungle and built a life-size statue of Guru Drona for inspiration. From then, he started practicing archery with grit and determination. Soon he mastered the skill. One day, as he was practicing, a stray dog approached Ekravi in the jungle and started barking at him. Ekravi got distracted and skillfully shot an arrow at him. The arrow shut the dog's mouth, but didn't hurt him. Little did Ekravi knew that it was Dronacharya's dog. When the dog eventually returned to Drona, he got inquisitive and impressed When he saw how skillfully the dog's mouth was being shot with an arrow without any wound, Drona searched about the archer and reached Ekravya's place in the jungle. On seeing his life-size statue, Drona got amused. He understood that Ekravya had managed to master archery without any formal training, and he was even better skilled than his favorite student, Arjuna. Ekravya was neither a prince nor a former student. This made Drona ponder whether to adopt Ekravya or discourage him. Eventually, as Drona was bound by the princely caste rules, and because Ekravya had not learned skills in a formal manner, Drona decided to punish him. He asked Ekravya to pay him a tribute and asked him to present his right thumb as an honorarium. Ekravya had no choice but to honor Guru Drona, whom he idolized. So he cut his right thumb and sacrificed his most precious art form for his guru. Ekravya could never pursue archery any further. Well, that was a sad and unfortunate end to the story. A story that depicted the great extent of Ekravya's character and his undue sacrifice for his teacher Guru Drona. So, thank you.
Wonderful, beautiful, lovely. This was the amazing story that we could have heard from a little one who's just 13 years old. It is the time when we are all in the boat that's sailing between learning and unlearning. So, I would like to know, you know, a lot of questions are there in my mind today because this is the time when we are all in the verge to learn new things, and we all have actually turned out to be learners suddenly. Everybody is a learner. Even the educators are learning, the masters are learning, everybody is learning. And you told us the story of an educator and a student, an ardent learner, Eklavya. So I would like to know that at that moment of time, he wanted to learn it from the Dronacharya. But today, when there is internet and Google is the Baba, the ultimate educator. Shifali ma'am, I would like to know about your opinion that is learning still dependent upon the presence of an educator? If
I must,
yes, then how? And why is an educator important?
first of all, I want to say how beautifully Adhyan narrated the story. It's a beautiful story. I think whenever we hear this story, it reminds us of a very important episode that happened in Mahabharata. Eklavya. The name itself says it all. Everybody knows Eklavya. Well, your question was very beautiful, Himangi. Today, I don't want to talk about today first. I want to talk about the past. I want to talk about the time when Mahabharata happened, or even after that. For years together, educators have been given that kind of importance. The only way to get education was to look at the educator or your guru. Today, as you very nicely said, Google Baba says it all. Obviously, things have changed. And the beauty is now information is available everywhere. Just one click and it's there. I mean, of course, we have teachers, we have gurus even now. But now, even the gurus are referring for their reference, they are looking at Google. A lot of
The ultimate
information.
Baba, the ultimate guru.
Absolutely. The ultimate guru. This is what is happening. And now we used to take days to get information. A lot of time, even the gurus would not know the answer. They would say, okay, fine, get back to you in some time. But now it's become so easy. Just one little click and we have everything right there.
Exactly.
This is the time when I think Suddenly everything has become so easy for children. All the answers are right there. They don't have to wait for days, they don't have to wait for people, they don't have to wait for the right time. Now children are more, what do I say, they are, they can get information easily, and they don't really the kind of patience we had to take when we were studying. Even when we were in school, we didn't have internet, right? Times were different. We would go to the libraries to get our answers.
Correct. And what a
And
fun it was.
it was actually, it was good fun. Reading is always fun anyhow. It also takes you to that little feeling that your imagination is always better when you read.
Correct.
Your vocabulary gets better when you read. You start to imagine nicer things when you read. It's not, everything is not digital, but now things are changing.
Correct.
So I think it's a matter of time. It's how you perceive it. This is also fun, and there is more learning. It's not like you're not learning,
Mm.
but yes, this has its own charm, and that had its own charm.
Okay. So that's what Shpali ma'am is to say. She's okay with Google Baba telling all the answers to the learners as well as the educators. So I would like to know from the educator. I've already got the answer from the educator. I will give my perspective later, but before that, I will definitely look forward to Adyan's approach towards the ultimate educator, that's Google Baba. So, Adyan, what do you think? Learning is still dependent upon educators, or you think that you can study and learn from the Google Baba?
Well, we can't say that learning, 100% learning is dependent on guru, teacher. Google Baba can solve any doubt anywhere, anytime. But at the same time, teachers are also important. I would like to give you an example. Suppose a student has got a textbook from his school, notes from his school, his parents bought him a reference book, and he has obviously Google Baba. But he has four different kind of resources. So maybe this can act in an opposite way, where this can confuse him that what to study first. So for guidance and showing the right path and putting all the resources in a sequential manner, an educator, a teacher is always important and required. Google Baba cannot take a place of a human being, a real Baba.
Exactly.
Very well said, very well
Very
said.
well put.
And it is such a
Absolutely.
beautiful answer, absolute beautiful answers coming from the student himself saying that, Google Baba cannot take the place of the real Baba. And that is very, very true. I'm sure Google is telling us everything. But, there has always been a difference between a teacher and a guru, because guru was never about sharing knowledge. Guru was making somebody enabled towards getting knowledge. Let us have somebody in life who can allow us how to learn, not what to learn, how to think, not what to think. So this is what the exact definition of a guru is. If we can enable our students, we are always needed. But if we try to give the knowledge which is getting stagnant in some part of the books or documented things, and we are not transforming ourselves, then we might fade away, we might not be required. And that's what I believe today's time is telling us. Even the educators need to learn a lot many things to keep encouraging and mentoring the students. So it is the time of mentorship rather than just imparting simple knowledge, which definitely Google Baba is telling us. So I am glad to hear it from both of you. And with that, Adhin, I would like to know one more thing, and that is very, very important. We have come across a story of Eklavya, as you told, that it was about his character, his trait, and his sacrifice. What do you think? How important it is to be righteous? There might be very many situations when your educator, your parents, your elders might not do it, might not be found in a situation where they are correct, doing the right things. Do you think at that moment of time it is good to question, it is good to point out, or would you like to just sweep, side say?
Well, really, if your guru or your person who is in a relation with you, you should stop him from doing wrong things. Of course, we should always be righteous. You must have heard that saying, that कहावत कि एक झूठ को छुपाने के लिए 100 झूठ बोलने पड़ते हैं. And even if you are saying 100 lies, one day you will be caught. And if you are saying truth, you need not to remember that whole situation. But if you are telling lie, you will remember and you will think now what to do. You will panic. The situations can only be handled by telling truth. That's my call on it.
So you said that it should be the truth that must prevail, and I'm sure a lot many would agree to it. But कितना होता है ये? How relevant it is? That becomes a problem when it comes to the ground. And I want to know one more thing. जब हम एकलव्य की बात कर रहे हैं, when we are talking about eklavya, there is a very prominent role of Dronacharya in Mahabharata itself because he was the guru, and he was definitely being given that upadhi by lot many people, learned people, and he was the Shresht Guru Dronacharya. Shifali ma'am, I would like to hear from you that what do you think? What emotion took that turn? Was it his love for Arjun, his commitment towards the royal family, his kartavya, his dharm, or was it his ego? What led to the consequence? What is your opinion? What emotion was high and what actually made him, overcome the sense of righteousness to a good
You know,
extent?
Himangi, it wasn't actually one emotion. According to me, there was a mix of emotions. Of course, I can easily see and say that there was jealousy somewhere because he saw that, oh my God, this is the boy Eklavya who I did not really train and is doing better than Arjuna, who I have been training. There was ego. Definitely, there was ego. And of course, he had his loyalties towards you know, towards the kingdom. But then the thing is that I think he was wrong because somewhere he made Eklavya made such a sacrifice that really changed the course of life for him. And somewhere Dronacharya knew that, listen, that Eklavya is better than Arjun. If he did not feel threatened, why would he ever make him do that? He would have never made him do that, what he did. But the story says it like Eklavya, without even waiting for a second, he just took a knife and gave the thumb away. He was he was somewhere indebted to Dronacharya. Just by placing his murti, he realized that he was the teacher, and this is where the strength was coming. Imagine his faith. His faith was so strong, but somewhere Dronacharya's faith got moved. If you ask me, he didn't really trust Arjun that much when he saw Eklavya play the game. When he saw
Hmm.
him do the archery, he felt threatened.
Okay, this is another perspective altogether, I believe, because for me, I believe being the guru, he was, maybe I'm not in sync with the idea that he was he was somewhere um, he was a human being altogether.
See, that is what
He-
happens, isn't it, Himangi?
yes.
There are different
So
traits in a human being. So we
right,
don't,
yeah.
at
You
the
know,
same
there
time,
can
I've
be
heard this.
something good, something very good, something bad, something less bad, but there is nothing called right or wrong. I have, like, whenever I come across these kind of things, I genuinely land up to this, because for me, for a guru to genuinely have an accountability towards the students, a lot many times this happens. We know we are working with the students, we know the students are working, but unfortunately, lot many times what happens is, you know that we come across a situation where we find ourselves accountable towards the result of the child, the performance of the child. So that is a pressure, and that is the accountability, that what am I teaching. And then the same happened with Guru Dronacharya, because he had to be answerable to the king who has given him the charge for the prince. And the second part was that it was not the love, or rather it was more about trusting the fact that he has to take up that responsibility, and that led to the biasness towards the Eklavya. And Eklavya's faith was tremendous, it was beautiful,
Yeah,
because he believed the fact that whatever he
the
learned,
good, yeah,
he learned from the observation. So here comes the scenario where, you know Dronacharya knew that he learned from him. He got all the observations from him. And
yeah,
that is why he knew that he was better.
yes. He was indeed better. But
He,
you know, there is
he,
another take to this, Himangi. I must tell you here. There's another take to this. A lot of times people say because Dronacharya दूरदृष्टि के थे, like he could foresee the future. He knew if he would not ask for the thumb, he knew that Eklavya is going to supersede Arjuna. There is another, yeah, there is this another study to this altogether, that he knew exactly what would have happened much later. And he didn't want that Eklavya would be in Kaurava's side. And he knew then that it will be very difficult for anybody to win, uh, the situation, and basically for Eklavya to lose. So there is a story which talks about this also. So
so
maybe
we
there
would
was
we
something
would
that
we
he
would
knew.
definitely look forward to that aspect of the story of Mahabharata, because there are numerous thousands of lessons underneath when we study the Mahabharata, because we actually need to understand what is the gray side of the world. Because unfortunately or fortunately, we keep listening and observing the blacks and whites, but we never go through the depth of grays, because that is the beauty, that is the beauty. So okay, I will not take this point much ahead. I will definitely look forward to another question, where and then I would like to know that, being a student, you have given yourself 100%, you have trusted your guru, you have given it all to master the art with your dedication, determination and diligence. And the day when you are supposed to portray the skill, the pride that you want to look in the eyes of your guru, you suddenly find him or her in a situation where he asks, you learned it from me, give it back. At that moment, the way Dronacharya did, do you think the thing that Eklavya did was right? Or he could have escaped that situation and should have done something else? What is your call? I know Adhyan is a very, very beautiful story twister. He twists the story altogether with his perspective. What do you think? In Mahabharata, was this right thing that Eklavya did? Is it the right thing a person should do? Because
Um,
that was written in that very way. What is your call on it? It's a very tricky question, and I know you love those questions.
oh. Yeah, I love sometimes, but yeah, this is one of those times. Yeah, so Eklavya had faith in his guru, and Dronacharya was his idol. And like for ideal, you can do anything. You can pay the ultimate price. So the thumb was nothing for him. So he did. But this can be another situation. Everyone would not do that. Most of the people, if you see, will escape, run, say, I don't want to. So it is totally a person's perspective. If he is not afraid of cutting his thumb, giving any ultimate price, he should do that. But if he is afraid, he will run. Who can stop him? So I think it's everyone's view, perspective. We talked about it in previous session also. So that same thing is here. If anyone wants, they will give. Otherwise, they have the option to escape. So I think everyone's perspective is their guru, the real guru in them. This
So
is my take.
he learned to be generous and kind from Dronacharya. That's what you meant. So with
Yeah,
that,
he wanted.
he wanted. So Shafali ma'am, what do you think? Was he right to do so? He could have run. He could have given it a call. Being a student and being a person with a wit, he knew what he was doing, right? How important it is for a child to have a wit that, yes, I should know what is supposed to be done. If he would have been righteous, he would have asked for not doing so. What do you think? What Eklavya did was right or not?
See, it's very difficult to say whether he what he did was right or not. I mean, if you really see what Adin said was absolutely right. He used to idolize Dronacharya. Why wouldn't he do something? I mean, for all those years, he had made this beautiful idol, and he would keep practicing right in front of that idol. And he attributed to that kind of success only to that great man. It's like, somebody following a star. There are people who are crazy about stars, and then when they see them, they're like anything for them without even thinking about it. So
So
I
I
think
believe it is
probably
about
did not
all
really think about
that matters. It's all about that matters is the
it.
unshakable faith
Yes.
and the wit that he actually took because he wanted to be the best. And when his guru asked for the thumb, he knew that he was the best.
Yes, I
He
was about to.
proved
I
it.
knew he was the best, and that's the reason he gave the thumb because he
So
knew it. He
that was
knew exactly
that
that
was
why.
what the message he passed
Yeah,
to the world. I believe that's what Eklavya is known for his wit, for his determination, for the fact he wanted the world to know that he is the best. Even when he was slashing down his thumb, he knew that people will know the story and they will always remember that he was the best.
that's why
So,
we sit here and discuss Eklavya because
correct,
he is like he created history.
right.
Even we know that he was better than Arjuna, but then circumstances changed and Arjuna eventually did supersede. But yes, he was still the best.
Yes. So now I would just quickly wind up with the things and I will ask what are your takeaways? What are your takeaways from the story of Eklavya Adhyan?
My takeaway is everyone who read this story or listen to this will think of Dronacharya's partiality and Eklavya's faith. But if there is one good takeaway, it is that that Eklavya didn't lose his focus. When Dronacharya denied to teach him because he was not a prince or a Brahmin, he didn't lose his hope. He could have gone back to home, He could have become a boatman, but his dedication and his passion towards learning archery was his strength. He observed Guru Drona and practiced. And after days, he was the best archer of the whole Mahabharata period. So I think the best takeaway is don't lose your focus and be passionate about your goal. Only then you can achieve it.
Amazing. Wow. It's so lovely to hear from a teenager that you should not lose your hope, you should not lose your focus, and you should not get your passion, let your passion away, because that will lead you to be, in a situation where you can genuinely create history. Shefali ma'am, I would look forward to your opinion, you know, through the lens of an educationist. What do you think? What
See,
does this story of Eklavya, such a controversial story of Eklavya tells us? And
for
how
me,
should be related to, today's time?
today's time, yes, I was about to say, I realized there are two aspects to this, Himangi. One aspect is as gurus or even as parents, we should stop comparing our children with other children. We should not compare our children with other siblings as well, if they have siblings. That's the biggest disaster we do. Let our child do exactly what they want to do and what they're good at. And the minute they realize that children, whatever they do passionately, always the results are different. One thing is that, according to me, like, there should be no comparison. When we compare children, that's real damage that we do to our children. Then the second thing is from the aspects of a student, which is they definitely must keep their focus, they must keep
Vishu,
going, they
like
have
to kar do.
to, they have to be, they must have something to look forward to. Their dreams can only come true if there is a certain amount of focus, and focus does not happen overnight. There are years and years of working towards the same goal. Each day you take a step and you move forward, so don't be scared. Don't feel, oh my god, I'm not, I'm lagging behind. It's okay, it's your race and only yours. You should not compare yourself with other people, because your life is yours and theirs is theirs. The only competition that you must have is with your own self, and that is what my take is from the whole story.
So I believe this is the time when we look forward to the entire episode of Eklavya.
Absolutely.
It is only about that, what are we, absorbing from our ecosystem, and
Right.
what we are looking forward should be the ultimate progress that we have in our own life, that we do in our own life. So this is beautiful. you know it's like everybody has a different race, and everybody has a different pace altogether. So I don't think that, I personally genuinely believe this, that if we teach the same thing to our students, the sense of righteousness change the entire perspective of a person's life. And as Adhin said it very beautifully, that yes, when we are looking forward to our own goals, when we are looking forward to our own perspectives, the perspectives that we learn from our gurus, our mentors, actually let us reflect their traits. so
True.
so yes, when we talk about our different life episodes, the educators, it is for them that they should be the ones who live by example. They should be the ones who should be mentoring the students. And with this, I have a last question, Shefali ma'am, because I believe we missed that part. How important it is for an educator to enable the children, because in these times, as we were discussing, people generally forget that their main duty is to enable the kids, not to keep entangling themselves. Like a lot many times we come across the situation when teachers don't want to give up on their students, they just want to get the credit, because this is also about credit, that I have nurtured the child. I think Dronacharya also wanted that the same credit, because in case of Eklavya, that credit would have gone, because he would have said it that I observed it, or maybe people must have questioned that he just observed you. You were not giving the keys to him, but he observed, he took it. So how many times an educator come across this situation, and with that, a lot many times in India or abroad, even in this very time, education is turning out to become a source of business for a lot many people, rather than having the sense of education, which is actually the right of a person. It's a human right to have, to educate him or herself. I would like to have your opinion about it.
Hemangi, I feel personally that you said a very nice thing just now. We don't realize we are commercializing everything. Even education, we are really commercialized. Uh, it's more like a business, like a dhanda. And that's what it has really become. As an educator or as a teacher, we must we must have the gift of giving, of imparting. It's very important. How many times I cannot even think once that my teacher would go on a stage and say, I have taught you, I have done this for you. We never saw this. And today, when people are doing this, I have personally seen it. I have seen it. They keep going on and on and on. I mentored this one. I have done it for this person. And I look at them and I wonder, how can you take the credit? If the student would not give you that kind of respect, if he or she do not look upon you, you tell me, how exactly are you a teacher? If you don't have this heart of giving away whatever is inside you, that's the biggest thing a teacher can do. They cannot just tell you what to do, they should let you be, because every child is different. They need to give you the tools and tell you, listen, these are the tools, use them, and then watch you at a distance and see and observe what exactly a child is doing. That is real education. Education is not telling them what to do. Let them do what they are capable of doing. How do you know that this is, you might be putting a limitation on the child's mind? You have to let them discover their own self, their own journey. So as an educator, all you should do is let them be, just supervise, just guide. Please do not put your ideas into the child's mind, because you are limiting your child's belief system.
This is so beautiful, Shafali ma'am. And then, and in the end, I would say that yes, when we talk about teachers or parents or the stakeholders labeling the students, or sometimes the students even labeling them, I want to conclude this session um, with the lesson, which with my takeaway, I would say that Eklavya taught us how to find his strength, how to, find one's strength. So, as we always say, that you should be polishing your strengths, and you should keep maintaining your weaknesses. So if you start polishing your strengths, he knew that he can be a good archer, he knew that he should be a good archer, and then he kept polishing himself towards the final achievement that he actually got when Dronacharya noticed him. So until then, he was just polishing himself towards the perfection, and he was managing everything else, I'm sure. So, this is what I know that one should do. And this helps, trust me, because identifying these strengths is the most important part. This is what the previous session of ours, when we were discussing about Arjuna's sense of focus, and this session when we are talking about the focus and diligence and determination of Eklavya, in both the stories I know that we can just simply identify the fact that they both knew what are the strengths of their own personas. And this is what is most important. Whether you are a student, you should know what is your strength, and for that you might need to discover or do the practice or experiment with lot many things. Until the time you don't identify, never hesitate to experiment with the different things. So you should be open to all the kinds of subjects you come across. Do everything, explore the kind of exposure you will give to yourself, the kind of horizon that you will give yourself. I think that will help you to identify the real strength of yours. And with that, I am thankful to all of you to listen to us so patiently. I can see generally we don't have live audience, but in this session we got to have good live audience as well. I'm sure you people are liking our story this time. And as I always say, our dear, lovely, adorable, charming Adhin will be coming with the different stories in the coming time every Sunday with us. Shafali ma'am, I would like to ask you for the closure of the session today, because this is what about the educator and the credit. And of course the ardent learner. So I and Adin would like to be the ardent learners, and we would like you to be the educator or the educationist who's telling us, elaborating the life lessons to us. So I would like you to do the closure today for this lovely story of Eklavya.
Well, I must thank everybody who's watching us and listening us tonight. This was a beautiful story, and there is so much to learn. We as human beings have layers of things about us, layers of emotion, and layers of characters. There is enviousness, there is goodness, there are so many things. I mean, I can just go on and on and on, but there is a lot to a human character. The main thing, according to me, is the beautiful amalgamation of a student and a teacher. The student should give, sorry, the teacher should give and the student should receive. At the same time, student should also give and the teacher should receive. It is just a perception. As much as a student learns from a teacher, trust me, teacher also learns from a student. The teacher grows because he gets to train different children. That is the beauty. There is completely, at energy level also, there is completely give and take. And I think as an educator, it is my duty and the duty of so many educators out there that we should look the best in the child and only make sure we encourage them to follow their path. And the students also come to us purely because they trust us. They also have that blind kind of faith in us. And most importantly, it is only with love what they understand. That is very important. All the educators should make sure they have good amount of patience. Please do not lose that. And make sure whatever you explain to the child should be with the story. That's very important. And with a lot of love. They will never forget it for life. That is my closing thing for tonight.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much for this lovely closure. And our time travel from Mahabharata to real time becomes more intense with the coming sessions of stories, which I can genuinely see. And for that reason, we will be coming up with another lovely story from the epic of Mahabharata by our lovely Adhyan, who will be the storyteller for the next story session. So stay tuned with us every Sunday at 8 p.m., where I, Shefali Chopra, and Adhin Das will be hosting a very lively storytelling session And yes, the story with the moral and the conclusions from our lens so that you can look forward through your lens. So, thank you so much for listening to us in this very beautiful and patient way. And this is Himangi Arora Mishra, your lovely host from Speak Up and Empower India. So, if you feel like talking to us, if you genuinely like to be heard and listened, please come to us. The website is there. I am available, and my number is there. And Shefali ma'am's number is definitely there. So you can talk to us if you genuinely want us to listen to you. If you have a different story or a perspective, please share in the comment box. Before I sign off, I would definitely love to know the questions answer that Adhin asked in the previous session. Adhin, do we have any winner for this session?
Yeah, most probably, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would time travel to not to Mahabharata. Previous Sunday, when I asked
Okay.
the question was, what is the name of Arjuna's son, which was from his third wife, who tried to kill him once, but he was brought back to life by Lord Krishna? So, the answer to this question is Babruvahan. Babruvahan. Let me correct myself. Babruvahan is the son of the Arjun who killed him once, and the person who answered it correctly, his name is Kailash Mehra. So,
Kailash Mehra.
yeah, so congratulations, Kailash Mehra. And if you are with us today, what a bye. And the quiz question and the fun fact for today is, as this session was about Ekravya, so I would like to tell about Ekravya's son. So, the name of Ekravya's son was Ketuman, and he also fought the Mahabharata war and was killed. So, my question for today is, who killed Ekravya's son Ketuman? So, if you know the answer, please comment it down in the comment section. We are on Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. So please comment and we would announce the winner's name in our next session. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much. So I'm sure this question itself will give you a very prominent insight of Mahabharata and will lead you to get through the internal facts of Mahabharata, because next time we are going to be really intensifying the question as well as the sense of story with us, so that we can genuinely look forward to the life lessons taught in the epics of Mahabharata. Thank you so very much for listening. This is Imangi Arora Mishra signing off for the day. Happy Sunday. Wish you all a very good, healthy, happy life. Keep smiling and keep accepting the abundance which is there for you in the world. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, universe. Namaskar.